Okay then, this is a short, very short video on the new Honda cb500x. Yeah, it's not going to be a ride around video because it's a pile of those on YouTube. All I'm going to do is tell you what I think of the bike. Yeah. Okay, well, I've had sports bikes right up until last year, and I wanted something a little bit more comfortable to get around on because I live in West Cork in Ireland, so I tend to do a fair few miles. Yeah. Last year, when Honda brought out the cb500x, I liked the look of it, and I went out and swapped my old Hornet plus a bit of cash for the 500. Now, the 500 was a brilliant little bike. I mean, it did virtually everything that I wanted to, apart from the fact that I do a lot of miles and it seemed to be a little bit revvy for me when I was just pottering along. Yeah. So I was looking at the 700 and I thought, well, I'd leave it, and luckily I did, because they brought out the 750 late last year. So as soon as I saw that, I thought to myself, well, all those criticisms that I've heard about the rev limiter, everything else, should have been sorted. I looked at a few YouTube videos and they seemed to be the same sort of conclusion. So I went out and I chopped in the CB for the 750. Now, it's a bit funny, the 750, because after you've been riding sports bikes for a few years, you get used to the revs. And I had a lot of problems, first of all, with the rev limiter. But after a couple of weeks, it becomes pretty natural. So I've got no problems there with it. And she potters along at 70, 80 miles an hour, no problem. I think when she's doing 60, she's doing about 3,000 or something like that, 2,000 revs. But it's a brilliant little bike. I was a bit disappointed with little things like no centre stand, main stand, little bits and pieces like that you have to fork out extra for. I was also disappointed with the price of the NC stuff. You know, for instance, the centre stand's about, I don't know, 125 sterling as opposed to about 70 for the CB, but it's only little things really. I bought the carrier rack and all that for the top box, but to be quite honest, I haven't used it because you've got the storage in the tank on the NC, 21 litres, so it's do everything that I need. Yeah. That's about it. I get really good mileage. She does about 3.8 litres up for 100 kilometres, which is pretty good. I think that's about 70 or something like that, and it's brilliant. I don't ride it slow, you know. I mean, I'm sort of pushing on a little bit a lot of the time. But as I said, I thought the CB was a lovely little bike, but for me, the NC is a bit better because I do a fair few miles. It's a little bit comfortable. I found the CB a little bit uncomfortable. Roughly the same ride height, maybe a little bit taller, but I'm only 5'10" and I have no problems at all with it. So all in all, it's a lovely little bike, and it's not a big switch to go from sports bikes to something like this, and I haven't regretted it. Sometimes when the boys go past me at 10,000 revs, I think to myself, whoa, but it's only very occasionally. That's about it. I'm not going to ride the bike because you've got piles of ride arounds on this bike on YouTube. This is just a walk round and a few little conclusions of mine. Now, I haven't fitted much in the way of extras. I've got the Ace Abyss handguards. It means I can wear summer gloves in the winter, no problem. I've got the rack, yeah, that's just a GB rack for the top box, which I haven't used. I've put the rear hugger on. I didn't go for the Honda one because I bought the Honda one for the CB, and to be quite honest, it didn't keep a lot of muck off the shock or the back end of it at all. So I stuck this GB one, and it's a much better job, and it's a, I don't know, it cost me about 80 euros, 70 to 80 euros, which is a lot cheaper than the Honda stuff. Well, that's about it. if you're hesitating to buy one of these things, don't do it. And if you want to do any miles, pay a little bit extra for the NC as opposed to CB. If you're flitting around town or city or something like that, most of the time go for the CB. Okay? Thanks very much. See you in.